Kids, we are talking about the impacts we have on climate change. You may have heard people mentioning population as a big concern for climate change, but there is a subtlety involved in there. If you are not too young for this, then you can pay attention. Essentially, there are a certain number of people on the planet. Now we have crossed 8 billion as of 2026, and we are expected to grow for some more time in terms of the total population. But the climate change is really related to the emissions since the Industrial Revolution, in fact, and the emissions are basically related to per capita, per person consumption, how much carbon or greenhouse gases we all emit. So you can be very poor and emitting very little greenhouse gas or carbon. You may be very rich and emitting 10 times or even more carbon dioxide per person compared to a poor person. So it's not just the total population, but per person consumption that matters a lot. Is that very important? Yes, when we count for who's responsible for global warming, we have to worry about poor countries versus rich countries. But of course, the trick is that even in a developing country like India or China, rich people may be emitting just as much as people from the United States of America per person. But if you average over all of India, you will get something like 3 tons of carbon dioxide per person per year. Maybe carbon, please check. But nonetheless, you are averaging over very large numbers, rich people emitting a lot, poor people emitting very little, and so on. Nonetheless, we have to keep in mind that population alone cannot explain impacts on climate change. But now even more important is that the fertility rates, how many kids each woman has, is dropping, which means the population is peaking in many places and is even going down in many other places. China peaked, for example. Many countries like Japan is a clear example, South Korea, etc., are beginning to decline in population. So we have to worry about future populations as well while thinking about climate change and impacts. No doubt that a crowded planet affects habitats for animals like tigers, elephants, lions, and we consume a lot of food as well and waste a lot of food. So population matters, and yet we have to be careful how we say it in terms of population and impacts on climate change. Just keep that in mind as you grow up, okay?